Good moment, friends. I could say good morning, but there's no such thing as a morning. So I'm going to tell you good moment instead. It is a good moment right now. Feels like a good moment right now. Maybe not to you. I'm feeling good over here. It's fine if you're not over there. Let's see if we can do something to change that. Let's close our eyes and take those 3 long, slow, deep breaths together. Yes, the deep breath that signals to our physiology that we're safe, that everything is okay. But I want to talk today, as you meditate with me, about the inevitability of pain. All living beings experience pain. It is unavoidable. And it's for this reason that I'm not super keen on that word suffering that so often shows up in wisdom teachings. Suffering, to my ear, is too close to the word pain. And so when we hear wisdom teachings that talk about the end of suffering, it's very easy and very common for people to think that spiritual practice is about eradicating pain, as if there weren't already enough magical ideas around in spiritual practice. The word from the Pali language that the Buddha spoke, which is translated to suffering, is the word dukkha. Dukkha. There are other translations for this word. It can be translated as stress. It can be translated as resistance. But my favorite, and the one that I think is most appropriate for what the Buddha meant when he said dukkha, is dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. And why do I like dissatisfaction so much? Because dissatisfaction is clearly something different to pain. Dissatisfaction is clearly something optional. Dissatisfaction is clearly something mental, emotional. We can be in pain, but we don't have to be dissatisfied about it. There are examples of all kinds of brave individuals bearing up during terminal illness, continuing to smile. There are, of course, examples of others who frown throughout the whole ordeal. And if we were to, as a thought experiment, imagine 2 cancer sufferers, one of whom is smiling through it, one of whom is frowning, we know who's having a better time. And there's also significant science to support the idea that the smiler may well have a higher chance of recovery. It's been said in certain wisdom traditions that spiritual practice is preparation for death. We all know it's coming. How are we going to face it? Are we going to be dissatisfied that death has come? Or can we smile at death? Indeed, if we can smile at death, it's likely that we've learned to smile at our pain throughout our lives. And therefore we'll likely have fonder memories to look back on in that moment of death if we've undertaken the kind of training that you and I are doing right now. The training of contemplating the nature of pain and dissatisfaction, investigating in our own experience the truth that dissatisfaction is optional. We know that dissatisfaction comes from interpretation. We interpret what we encounter. We judge it to be good or bad. We say, I like this, I want this, or I don't like this, I don't want this. And that's where we create our dissatisfaction. And it is created. It's a mental process that can either run or not run. As opposed to, of course, those symptoms of illness, which just are going to cause pain. And so the Buddha said it like this. He said, when an unpleasant experience arises, we are often struck by two arrows. The arrow of pain and the arrow of dissatisfaction. But we can step out of the way of that second arrow. When we learn to accept that pain just as it is, just as sensation. Yes, it's different to a pleasant sensation, but resisting it achieves nothing. Indeed, if we return to that image of our two cancer patients, the resistance may actually harm your chances of recovery. So this is my encouragement for today, friends. Watch out for unpleasant experiences that arise and see if you can detect the difference between pain and dissatisfaction. See if you can instead, in the moment that that pain arises, accept it. This is not to say, of course, that you don't do what you need to do to heal that pain or to avoid it altogether. Both are wise. But when there is pain, which is inevitable for all living beings, then my encouragement to you is to accept it. Indeed, if you ever wish to have a chance of letting it go in the case of emotional pain, you must first accept it. You cannot let go of suppressed pain. Good luck, friends. Take that long, slow, deep breath today whenever you need a reminder of my encouragement. And do feel free to drop your experiences with pain and dissatisfaction and acceptance in the comments. I'll see you next time.